Okay, let's go.
Hey everybody, this is Josh,
And this is Shay.
and welcome to the Creator Podcast. Today we are thrilled to be at Paulina Brand's house. She is the writer and creator of the Bohemian Peach cookbook, Taste of Home. And we just want to say thank you for letting us into your beautiful, beautiful house and taking the time to talk about your new cookbook.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for having me, you guys. It's Saturday. We're just sitting here and having a good time, and this is really awesome. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
We're so excited. And I have to say that I'm super jealous. Like, it's super not fair that I am not there. I wish I was there, but I can't wait to start talking to you about like everything you do. Growing up, did you know that, exactly what you wanted to do? Did you know you'd be in the creative space? And for our listeners, she's a stylist, she's a chef, she's a makeup artist, she does a whole lot of stuff.
She literally does it all. She creates tablescapes, and I mean, her house is gorgeous. We're gonna put up some photos of her house. We went through it earlier, and I mean, everything you do just has this style and this bohemian feel to it.
Thank you very much. Growing up, I always was styling stuff. I always had just urgency, like I had to do something. And my dad painted. My brother is a painter and also a chef. So my whole family cooks. Everybody's very creative in my family. So I think that's just in me, genetically, I just can't help it. And I can't sit still and I see beauty in everything. So I always try to stage and decorate and do a lot of creative things for sure. Yeah, I enjoy it very much.
So did you start off as a stylist, or like give us a little bit of background of like, because this is your first cookbook, correct?
That is correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Yes. So I started as a makeup artist and hairstylist. I went to Vienna and I worked for Makeup Forever for 2 years in Austria and did some training there for makeup because I was always a creator. I was always an artist, and I knew this is what I'm gonna do. So I started as a makeup artist, and we actually worked together with Josh on many photo
Yes.
shoots. Um, in previous years, and I enjoy doing makeup and hair and styling as well, styling clothing for people for photo shoots. So I started as a makeup artist, but then pandemic hit, and I had to reinvent myself because all my jobs kind of went away, unfortunately, because I was touching people, right?
Yes.
And
All
so
day.
unfortunately, everything was gone. But then I was just sitting at home and thinking, what can I do? What can I do that sets my soul on fire?
Oh,
That
I love
ignites
that.
that I can actually inspire myself. I can inspire other people, and then it hit me, and I was thinking, you know what? I have such a passion for food, not passion, obsession. I would call it an obsession because I cook every day, and coming from family that, and especially Czech Republic, where everybody cooks, and my family, whole family cooked, and they're all chefs and cooks, and so it was always something that I did and wanted to do. Since I was 20 years old, I thought I'm going to have a little coffee shop or coffee slash lunch restaurant, and so that was always my passion. Food was always my passion. I'm thinking, you know what, I can probably start doing something. And then my friend Tim Glover, who worked with me a little bit on this book, approached me in last May and said, Paulina, we're not doing anything. We're just sitting at home. Why don't we do a little bit of food styling? Because I've been seeing your pictures on Instagram and social media, and I always have to brag about it. So, so he
And
said,
they're great.
so why don't you shoot with me, and maybe you can expand your portfolio and become a food stylist. You don't to touch people. And I was like, wow, this is incredible because I love to cook. And I've been doing photo shoots and commercials for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This is actually an amazing idea. So that day when he came over, I was whipping food left and right, and we did so many things. Um, and by the end of the day, we're sitting here, and I'm looking all the pictures on his camera, and I'm thinking, this is incredible. They're so beautiful. And then it hit me, and I was like, friends and family, they've been always asking me, why don't you share this recipe with
Yeah.
me? I want to know what's in it. How did you do it? And I got tired of explaining and writing it down. And then it just hit me. I'm sitting and I'm thinking, I need to do a cookbook. I just need to create something,
Yeah.
because I love to cook and I love photography and I could do some of the photography myself. And then Tim will help me. And so we got this idea about creating the books together.
It was funny when we worked on set, you would always bring little dishes with you, and they were always put together so beautifully. And I remember models asking, how do you make this?
Yes.
Like, what is this? And they would ask her, like, literally, like, for the recipe while she's putting makeup on them.
Yes,
It was
I
always
talk a lot about food, and if I'm not eating, I'm talking about it, and if I'm not talking about it, I'm cooking.
Yeah.
It's always something about food. Yes.
Well, we are so happy. I mean, and whenever he sees this book, the styling, the spring photo shoot where you have the mushrooms that you gathered and the tablescapes with the antlers and just the way that you style everything, it kind of brings to me, your book kind of is like half Southern, half European. Is that like?
Yes, I try to. Well, let me explain. The Bohemian Peach, the name of the book is by Bohemia. A lot of people don't know. They know Bohemian, but they don't know exactly where it is. And it's the Czech Republic.
Really?
Yes. Bohemia is the Czech Republic. Czech Republic is divided into two parts, the Moravian part and the Bohemian part. That's where Prague is. So I'm Bohemian, and the peach is because I'm a Southern peach now, and I've been here for 16 years.
Oh, wow, has it been that long?
Yes, so it's a fusion of recipes that they are, influenced by Czech and by Southern cuisine, and actually it's very cosmopolitan because I've been traveling my whole life.
Yeah.
Before I had children, I lived in Malaysia, I lived in Brazil for a year, I traveled to Indonesia, all over Europe. So I collected all those ideas or recipes, and over the years I tweaked them or did something to them. And so this book is really a fusion of all kinds of things combined together. But I have to say that recipes that are included in this book are mostly classic recipes with a twist. Because I didn't want this book to be intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm not a trained chef, and I'm not trying to teach people how to do food, how to create food, fancy food or something that you see that chefs create, and you're like, I can never do this.
So you have to go special shopping for it.
I wanted you to be a little bit familiar, like you already had the dish, for example, chicken parmesan, and you're like, you know what, I know this dish, I had it before, but I don't really know how to make it, or never have done it before. So everything has a little bit of twist, and that's what the book is about. It's just the fusion of different recipes and both cuisine.
Yeah, but the book really encapsulates. I mean, I've known Paulina for many years, and it just really encaptures you and your spirit and your essence of this ease, this European ease, but always has that even like Latin twist to it, or like you'll put a little more spice here. You'll use something that I've never even heard of before, once in a blue moon, but it introduces you to a new palette, a new way of looking at food, for me especially. And I just love the styling, I really do. Through the whole book, it's this very clean, but I don't even know how to explain it. It's like clean and messy all together.
Yeah,
and like
it's Bohemian.
yes.
Paulina, I wanted to backtrack a little bit. So People talk a lot about the Bohemian style. So when they say this Bohemian style, since you come from there, is it depicted accurately? It's almost got like a gypsy feel. Is it something that's been Americanized, or is it really true to what it truly is, the roots of it?
You know what? I don't see Bohemia, Czech Republic to be that way. I think they just made it into that style, that kind of a gypsy,
Yeah.
free, freestyle. And it has a specific look, specific style to it, but I don't think it has anything to do with the original Bohemian, you know,
Yeah, culture, or yeah.
yeah,
That's
right.
really
Yeah.
that's really interesting because your style is so diverse and eclectic, like Josh said. So, how do you feel that growing up in Czech Republic has influenced like your food or your styling, your makeup, or just how you see the world and how you express that creatively?
Yes, yes. So when I was growing up, we had a little cottage house in the woods. So every weekend we would go there, and it would be my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my brother, my cousin, and we would all gather at that little tiny cottage house and literally just live in the woods and for the weekend. And a lot of people in the Czech Republic, they have either a small house, an apartment in a city, and then they on the weekends
Yeah,
they go
to your
out
cabin
to the
or
cabin or cottage house. And I think that influenced me the most is the being part of a family
Mm.
and nature and being outdoors and making bonfires and everything is kind of just not too
it's simplified.
yeah, it's
It's
simplified.
simplified. You don't have to worry about the city life and
Exactly,
putting on all that.
exactly.
Yeah.
You go there to rest, to rejuvenate, to connect with
Mm.
nature
Yes.
and your family, you know? That's the whole purpose of this book is to connect. It's a connection
I love that.
with nature, with loved ones that you have. And I think the food is the most essential part of it because we all gather at a table,
Mm.
you know, we all, that's where stories are shared, that's where families by the end of the day, they, you know, they share laughter and they create beautiful meals. So I think the food really connects people and brings them together, you know.
Yeah, because you can definitely see that nature is a big part of your aesthetic, which is absolutely beautiful because it gives a very natural and grounded feeling. But I guess the European influence also takes it to that next level of style and, a classy kind of design. Um, did you go to school for any of this stuff, like for styling, for makeup, or culinary?
Not at all, not at all.
Wow.
All I learned is from my parents to actually cook and my grandparents, what I've seen, and always had passion for cooking, you know. So and makeup, as I said, as I mentioned before, I was doing training at Makeup Forever, which is from Paris. It's a professional makeup line, and that's where I had my training. I went to Austria also to study German at university. So there's no culinary background, there's no training to be chef or anything like that. I did take a little class, little cooking school in Tuscany one time, but that's about it, you know.
That's
I just love food. I just love food.
But Josh, you see, that goes to show for like creators, people always sometimes feel like they have to go to school to pursue a passion or something they love. But she's like a prime example of the fact that you don't necessarily have to do that. Like your passion can speak for yourself and take you to places you don't even imagine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can, you can teach anybody anything, right? But unless you have a passion about
Right.
it, you don't have that heart that's in it. Like, I really believe that, like, when I've ate your food before, I can feel the love and the passion, the energy, I
Yes.
can feel your spirit in there. And I grew up, sitting at the table every day. My mom cooked 5 days a week, and
Yeah.
I will never forget those times. We had no TV. You sat and talked, and my
We
friend.
talk to each
Yeah,
other.
you talked to each
Yeah.
other, and it was like, I mean, it's a miracle. I don't know how she did it, but and I don't know
You
how any
have to
mother
do
does
it,
that.
yes.
Yeah,
It is a protection. I have to say, you really have to love food. You really
Yeah.
have to love, because this is how I express my love.
That's
Mhm.
exactly.
You
My
know?
mom said the same thing. This
Yeah.
is how you express love. I care for you.
Yeah, I
Here's some
care for you
food. I
because
want to
it's
take
not
care of
just
you.
the cooking. It's not just putting food on a table. It's going to the supermarket. It's creating a meal. It's to think about it, to clean afterwards
Yeah.
even, So it's a whole protection. How to, it's really a passion, and it's really a labor of love.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it
that's
is.
so funny. I gotta ask you. Okay, so like my mom has certain dishes that always go together, and people used to call up and be like, "Hey, what's your mom cooking?" Because like she would make certain things. Do you put things together in the book like that for people so they can be like, "Okay, this kind of goes with that"? Because some meals, like this salad goes with this dish because of
Mhm.
these ingredients. Do you?
I do, this book is divided into seasons, because it's not just a recipe book. It's not another cookbook that you put on a shelf. This is a storytelling book. It's divided into season on purpose, and the purpose is because there's lots of stories when I was growing up, about my boys, about my background. So I divided it into 4 seasons, starting with spring. And the reason for that is because spring to me is hope, you
Yeah.
know, and everything starts fresh and new. And we always have another chance, right, to do
Yes.
it again and try again, even harder.
Can't give
So,
up.
yes, so I started this book with season and with spring, and it goes into this kind of it's a harmony. I call it, it's a spectrum of different things that they go together and have a nice flow. And so the spring brings you to fresh vegetables and
Mhm.
quiche and potato salad and stuff that that it's very springy. There's
Yeah.
lamb chops,
I always
and
think
then
of
there is a
dill
story about the
in spring.
spring. And there's also lots of herbs that
Yeah.
you can use. There's medicinal herbs. There's medicinal plants or edible plants that you could grow, and you don't even need big garden. You can grow them on your patio or balcony. So this book is really, I want it to be so simple, and I want it to be for everybody. If you
Yeah.
live in New York and you have a little balcony,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
grow little herbs. You could go to the park. There's, for example, a section with elderberry, because I grew up in a country where there's lots of elderberry, elderflower, and you can make syrups, you can make mojitos, you can make
Right.
all kinds of stuff. And you really have to, all you have to do is just wait for May or June, whenever it's blooming, and you go to the park and you get it yourself. So this book is on a budget. It's something that you can use, that you already have. It's existing in your house. You can decorate with your scarves, or you can decorate with stuff that you find around. You go to Goodwill,
Yeah.
you pick it up anywhere.
Well, it's so funny that you're bringing that up because Shay and I, when we were looking over the book before the interview, Shay was like, "Man, she's resourceful." Like just in
Yes.
your book, it teaches. Like Shay, you were talking about how she's resourceful and
Yeah.
how she had, and how it wasn't intimidating to look at these
Yeah.
recipes. It wasn't like a French culinary book where you're like, "Oh my God, I have none of this."
Right.
It's very practical. It's like it's like there's some things that you get that just like you said, look pretty on a bookshelf. And then you have to like kind of muster the courage and say, okay, I'm gonna pull out that cookbook. I know it's a lot of work. I'm gonna mentally prepare myself, but your book is very a part of your life. And I think that's very different from most cookbooks because it's something that's practical that you can use daily. It's not something intimidating.
So that was the whole purpose of this book. Because I'm a mom. I live in suburbia, and I was really feeling kind of stuck, being at home, and I'm thinking about all the moms and dads that are stuck at home, and they want simple. They can't afford to go and get new stuff and setting up the tables with new stuff and buying all that. I wanted to inspire people that they can find stuff in their backyard. For
Yeah.
example, decorating the spring table with moss
Yeah.
or ferns. And you could go and have a picnic in the park or in the woods and just create a beautiful little setting with the kids and run into the forest and pick up some, fun stuff and decorate. So
This is why I love Paulina. She makes everything beautiful. Like literally, she can go around and spread her beauty everywhere. And she's just like, oh no, this is perfect. We'll just make it work. We'll
yes,
make
yes,
this work,
yes,
Judge.
we'll make it
I have
work.
taken you on photo shoots. You're like, no, no, this is fine. This
That's
is fine.
fine. We'll
I'm
do
like,
it.
I'm
We'll
looking
make
at
it.
it like, we're not shooting here. She's like, no, no, let me clean it up. And she makes it look beautiful. You really do. You're very good at taking what you have and being very resourceful with it.
Right.
And that's part of the energy that you bring that I love throughout this whole book.
That's
And
true. So
I
do
even
you,
love how front cover you have this, but just the little details, how you have the back, and it's the back of you holding
right.
flowers. I think it's just a cool little touch that it's like here's two different angles. I love the book. I love the styling.
Do you see a major difference? Because I grew up in Zimbabwe, so the culture around food is different um, than it is here, right? So, for instance, um, there are many families, especially in the countryside, when they served food, they would serve food like the meat would be in one bowl. The sadza is the traditional food we eat, would be in another bowl. The vegetables be in another bowl, and people would eat together. Of course, this is, pre-COVID, right? So everyone would eat together. Then, like, if you go more into the city, um, it would be served in plates, like, people do most places around the world. Um, but eating was a big part of the family or of the day. It was a big deal. So, for instance, in our culture, you don't eat in front of other people and not offer food. So that makes me wonder, like, what is the culture of food or surrounding food in the Czech Republic, maybe in comparison to the US, for instance?
Yes. So actually, I would like to start with when I was in Czech Republic. I was pregnant, and my older son Nicky was there with me, and I put him in a kindergarten just for the part when I was there and delivering. And so he was in kindergarten, and I picked him up over lunchtime. And I have to say, I was blown away when I saw what they were serving there.
Mm.
At the kindergarten, it's just a little tiny school. They were serving a piece of salmon
Wow.
with a melange of vegetables or vegetable medley.
Yeah.
And then it was like this beautifully styled with little scalloped potatoes.
So
And
like
I'm
gourmet
thinking to
food.
myself, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So the society,
Mm.
you know, you growing up already seeing this, being introduced to good
Yeah.
food, to have this foundation when when you're a little
This
kid,
relationship with food, right?
right?
Relationship with
Right,
it.
and
Yeah.
and the respect for food and your
Right.
body,
Yeah.
so they already in kids are serving that kind of food. And then I went to Nikki's school here for birthday, and I see this lunch that they serve, and they have those cold chicken nuggets that they were not even real,
No,
with
it's
like a
horrible.
spoonful of cold corn and a dry burger with a patty and the bun. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, no wonder that
Yeah.
people have a different relationship with food here. It all starts when you're growing up, and a lot of people, the culture in Czech Republic is that a lot of people cook,
Yeah.
like most of the time. They don't go out as much. So that's the different culture here, and in Czech. And plus, families see each other on a daily basis sometimes, and
That's the same in Zimbabwe. We didn't go out to eat much except for a special occasion. It had to be a birthday or it was a treat. So cooking every day was a part of um, the lifestyle,
yeah.
the culture. And like you were talking about having vegetables and stuff, like every family I knew had vegetables in their backyard. So they would pick the whatever tomatoes from the back before, when they're preparing dinner. So that's, pretty interesting. And speaking of which, the whole point you made about your son's school, I think I always talk about Anthony Bourdain because I love Anthony Bourdain, but he had an episode where he went to, I think, was it a school in Paris? I mean, in France or Germany, where they were serving kids gourmet food. Did you see that episode? I think it was his. And to your point, it teaches kids at a young age to appreciate and respect food and their bodies.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that, I mean, I grew up 100% American, so I was happy for pizza day. Pizza, and you got a little jello with it. And listen, I will still love it. I still love that square pizza and the tater tots. I will always love tater tots.
Yes.
We have a new guest with us now. We took a little break, and Louis decided to join us, so I get a nice lap dog. But we were talking about the food in the schools and stuff like that, and Shay wanted to ask a follow-up question to that.
How important do you think it is to carve out time to sit at the table with, family? Because everyone, like you said before, everyone's so busy and people eat at different times. Sometimes people just grab a quick snack and they're going. And, in today's world, people don't really sit down and enjoy meals like you did when you were growing up, and most of us did.
It is definitely a different time now with all the technology and the kids being always on their, iPads and phones, playing games. It's hard to take them away from that, but we try to eat together when I cook once a day. It never, sometimes it doesn't happen, but it's okay. But I have also lots of friends that they come all the time and join me here. The door is always open. So I really try to connect, with people and invite them for food, for dinners, for lunches, and even if the kids don't sit with me, they see how important it is, and there's lots of great conversations, great laughter, and we try to all kind of connect, and especially now during COVID. It's been very hard to connect with people, and but I still kind of manage to see some of my friends once in a while and just create some beautiful meals.
Do you ever, let's say the kids are gone and it's just you? I mean, do you ever just order and do you still cook for yourself?
Not as much. Not as much anymore.
I live for myself, and
not
it's
as much because I cook so much for them that when I'm by myself, I kind of keep it very simple.
Me too. Like
just,
a salad, just a quick little.
Or make a little soup, or pick up something on the way home.
But some of your recipes in here look like I would cook them myself, and I can't wait to try to do some of these, like the pork chops. I mean, I could cook that and eat that a couple of days. Even for myself. It's like some of the recipes I was like, this would be easy just to even cook for myself and in meal prep for the week, instead of doing the fast food or eating in front of the couch, or the TV.
Yes,
so.
Especially over the weekend, you can just create, 2 or 3 meals and either freeze it or put it in the fridge for 2-3 days and eat it, when you're busy and you don't want to really cook, and just pull it out of your freezer,
Well, sometimes I mean, I like to cook for other people. I think Shay does too. Do you cook for yourself, Shay? Like if it's just you at the house?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It'll be something, if I'm going to cook for myself, it'll probably be something small. Like maybe I want, toast with eggs and avocado if I'm going to cook for myself. But like the big meals, it's usually for the kids mostly.
In your book, you talk about honest food. What do you mean by honest food?
Honest food is when I know what I'm putting inside the dish. I know that I put so and so, and it's just tomatoes, and it's just meat. There's no preservatives, there's no extra stuff that you pick up in the frozen section, and it lasts forever. I bake my own bread sometimes, and so I know it's really honest. There's 4 ingredients in it, We can't get more
probably
simple
and natural,
yes. And I try to be good and buy lots of organic stuff. We also grow some in our backyard. Nikki used to be a big gardener a couple years ago. He grew everything. He had so many vegetables, so that was wonderful. Yeah, so that's what I mean by honest, that you really know what you're putting into your body, and you have control over it because you cook it yourself. So
very true. Like when I'm cooking for or entertaining, I like this is the designer in me. I have to make sure that all the dishes look good together.
Oh,
absolutely.
Because we eat with our eyes too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about styling for food and the table and stuff like that. Because like when I entertain, there's certain things that I have to have. Like if I have a red dish, I have to have something green on the side, so then I can color balance that on the table. Do you think a lot about color when doing recipes and entertaining together? And
not necessarily about the color unless it's dishes, that they kind of, I like to always do this bohemian style, kind of, mixing it all together, different colors. But the food itself, it's more as a theme. Like, for example, I like to cook Lebanese food. So I do chicken shawarma, I do tzatziki, I do, a fattoush salad. And so I create a theme, of food that kind of goes together, like rice and chicken, baba ganoush, whatever it is. So, or Italian, right?
Yeah.
So you have the bread, you have a dipping oil with all the herbs and garlic, and you have pasta. So I always kind of stick with the theme or the country where it's from, the authenticity of it. Yeah.
Perfect. There was I think Shay and I also wanted to ask, we love charcuterie boards. And we know that you do some of that in your book.
Yes.
And can you give us like, if I'm just starting off, let's say I'm entertaining like 4 people, or maybe my COVID pod's coming over and you're doing like, 4 or 5 people. Right. What does a charcuterie board usually have, and how do you pair it with things?
So you want to make it really attractive, right? Okay. Because if that's the main thing, there's no other dishes, you want to really make it pretty. And for everybody, if you have a vegetarian, so there should be cheeses, there should be meat. I usually do 3 or 4 different cheeses: soft consistency, hard consistency, blue cheese. Okay. One of my favorite cheeses is Tallagio. I just love that cheese. It's creamier, Then you want to have some kind of a crackers or breadsticks or fresh bread, baguette. Then you want to have even some dry fruits and fresh fruit. I usually use apricots or nuts, kinds of pecans, and they can be flavored, with different spices. Then grapes and all kinds of things. Do you usually pair
honey? What do you usually do with like blue cheese, or isn't it blue cheese that you usually do honey with? Or
well, everybody likes something different, so I always have the honey, but I also have fig preserve. Okay. So I'm so fortunate because in my backyard I have a big fig tree.
Yes, you do.
And every year, if the squirrels don't attack it, I get figs, and I make this is actually in my book, the very simple recipe for a fig preserve.
Really?
And I make those absolutely delicious fig crostinis, and it's a toasted baguette, thinly sliced, and then you put whipped goat cheese on top, and then you put this fig preserve that is just so simple and so divine. But what makes it is the little twist again. I put a piece of thyme on top, fresh thyme, from my garden or from my pots, and the combination of the thyme with the whipped goat cheese and a crostini with the preserve, it's just so delicious. And every time I have somebody over and I do it, everybody this is the first thing that it's gone because it's so tasty.
Everybody loves cheese, I think.
Everybody loves cheese and bread, right? Glass of wine with it.
You're good.
That's all you need.
A lot of people, I guess, don't really think about well, maybe they do, but the entertaining and hosting part is just sometimes very intimidating. Um, do you have any like simple tips that you can give people? Because cooking, the cooking part is a huge part, of course, but then it's like setting the table, making sure everything looks great, and then making everybody feel comfortable. Um, it's a skill set of its own.
It is, and it's a lot of pressure
Mhm.
because everybody expects everything to be kind of perfect, right? But what I do, what I've learned, don't leave it till the day off.
Yeah.
You know, do some preparation day before. If there is a
Good advice.
dish that you could do day before, do it day before, put it in the refrigerator, set up the table, or have your dishes ready day before. That way you don't have to stress about it, you know. Um, that's what I do. Or start in the morning and already start prepping, chopping the vegetables. That takes probably the longest time.
Yeah.
If I put everything and I chop stuff and I put it in the little dishes and containers, it makes it so much easier to later on to actually prepare the meal,
Yeah.
you know? And so that's what I do. If I have friends over and it's a little bit of a bigger production, I try to do it day before, like at least half of it,
Okay.
or create meals that they are not so much time consuming.
Yeah.
You know, like the charcuterie board.
Mm.
You could even do it day before
Yeah,
and just
easily.
cover it with
Saran
a
wrap.
foil saran
Yeah.
wrap and put it in the fridge, you know, or make it really simple so you don't stress out and you have time for yourself and your guests arrive. You don't have to just, oh, I'm
You're
sorry,
not
I'm not
sweating
ready.
like
I'm
me and like
sweating.
running
Yeah, yeah,
around in the
yeah.
kitchen and
You
things
want
are
to
on
really
fire.
enjoy it, you know, and that's the whole part of it, that a lot of people stress out
Mm.
because they're not ready and they're not prepared and they don't feel good because they're not, you know, 100% put together. So don't leave it till the last minute. Just do the preparation before, you know, and
I never really thought about it, but you're right. The cutting and the like, I guess the prep cooking
yeah,
takes. I don't really
that
think
takes
about
the
it. It takes
most
a long
time.
time to cut the
Yeah.
onion, get them diced up, and
If you have it
the slice.
already.
Yeah, if you have it already, then you're cutting half the time out.
Exactly.
Right.
I never thought
Exactly.
about that.
Yeah.
Your point about um, being prepared, for me, it drives me crazy when someone invites me to their place for dinner and it's like several people coming and they're still like running around doing stuff. And it's like, I came here to enjoy dinner with you. And now you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get this out the oven. Oh my gosh, I didn't do this. And then you're just like, huh, okay. So we're all supposed to sit around and wait for you to get it together. Like, how about you get it together before we all arrive? For me, it's a pet peeve of mine. Even for me, like when my guests arrive, I don't want to be running around getting everything.
Yeah. You want to enjoy the company. You want to enjoy your party,
Yeah.
you know, as everybody else, you know. So that's what I do. I have learned not to leave everything like an hour or 2 hours before. You know, do it day before or that morning. You know, so.
And I also think, like, for me, if I never try a new dish with new people,
Mhm.
like I have maybe 7 recipes that I know back and forth and I cook. I know what to get, but like if I'm gonna have anybody over, I'm gonna do a test run. I won't invite Shay because I'll be running around crazy. But I do a test run on that dish, and I can't wait to try out some of your dishes. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
they look amazing, and the photography, I'm gonna say it again, looks. Your styling has played such a big part in how this book is laid out. But another question on entertaining. If you could invite any 4 people that are alive
Mhm.
to a dinner party, who would they be and what would you serve?
Okay, so I have few people that I absolutely adore, right? One of them would be probably Deepak Chopra.
I love him. I love him.
Because
Yeah.
I listen to him almost every day on his love affirmations,
Yes.
and so I
Yeah.
would just sit there and just admire him and just kind of
Yeah.
get his beautiful, peaceful energy because I'm so hyper. So I need that kind of, kind of like just, yes, peacefulness. Definitely would like to talk to him about spirituality,
Yeah.
and I would probably serve him. Um, I I don't know, maybe my curry. I don't know,
Okay.
something exotic. I don't know. I don't know what I would really serve them, but I have to say that whoever tastes my food, I think they can feel the love.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be elaborate recipe, but I don't know what it is. Everybody tells me this just tastes so good. It's so full of love, you
Yeah,
know?
you can really taste stuff like that. Like when people really care about stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel that when I cook for somebody, I hope that they feel the
The
love.
love
Because
and
it's
the
not
effort that you
like
put
you were
in it.
talking about earlier. Like it's going to the market, getting the flowers for the table, and then making sure that you have the wine that you like with this meal. And it's funny, you can make grilled cheese for some people, and they'll
Yeah.
love it
Yeah.
because you made it. You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
I think creative expression, whether it's in the form of food or art or whatever it may be, is really powerful because it's sharing a part of yourself with someone. And like to you guys speaking about the love you put in the food, anytime you create, you're sharing a part of yourself, you're sharing some love and self-expression that you share with other people. And it's like, hope you guys like it.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. And I think it's so funny. I think, um, to be creative and to create a book like this with the photography that you've done, I mean, it does show how much you care about each dish and
Mhm.
how you care about how the dish is presented. And it's not just about the dish, it's about the plate that goes on it. It's about all the little stories that you could tell the whole day of making this. And we love how you tell the stories here. And I am just really impressed that this is your first cookbook.
Well, thank you so much. I think I will improve the second one. If I ever do second one, this I'm not a trained chef, so I hope that people forgive me. Just a few little mistakes that there in the book, but I'm not a chef, so I wrote it as I was feeling it. That this is how I do
Yeah.
recipes, and so hopefully people will find joy and inspiration in it, so I'm super excited to share it with people for sure.
Well, we're so glad that you're sharing.
Everybody, Louis back. He had left for a little bit. He came back to join us. You were saying you're not a chef. As far as we're concerned, and as far as anyone who'll pick up your book is concerned, you are a chef for sure. What we're curious to know is, where do you see yourself or hope to see yourself in the next, let's say, 5 years? Like, what is what you do so much? It's like, we can't wait to see what the next thing you're going to be doing is going to be.
Yes, 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 yes. And I was thinking about it really hard because I was just digging really deeply in me. What do I want to do? What is
Yeah.
the purpose? So I created this book. I have passion for food, and I realized I'm a homemaker. I'm a mother. I'm a homemaker. I'm a stylist. And what would really make Paulina happy? What would the Bohemian Peach
Yeah.
be happy with? And I think I got it.
Yeah.
I think I need to continue creating more recipes, more books, more things, inspire people. But I really see myself doing cooking classes and interacting with people. Maybe move to the countryside and have a kitchen, almost like a industrial kitchen / garden with chickens, because I have chicken and turkey
Right
in my
now.
backyard right now. So I think I see myself somewhere where I can actually share this with people
That's beautiful.
and
I
be a
love
host,
that. Yeah.
and maybe have on a weekend. I was thinking of dinners for people, invite them and have parties, wine pairing, um,
Yeah.
lessons, cooking schools, something like that
But
with
making
gardens.
classes for 2 days or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and kind of like almost a bed and breakfast. That would be perfect for me with dinner and out in the country
Yeah.
and with my hospitality, because I love people, and I think this is my purpose. And I would also like to have an orchard, or I for some reason I see this huge Tuscan table behind me is this kitchen that is completely, the house is completely open with a huge island, and I'm cooking and inviting people over, and I see chickens walking in and out, and I see this beautiful sunflower field and a big oak
It's not
tree.
sunflower field for you
And
too.
and people come from the city and they join me, and they want to spend maybe a day or two out in the country and experience this farm life or whatever.
Yeah, but I love that idea of people coming to you, and because you do have a calming energy, but you also have like, just even to cook with you, just be like, hey, we're coming to cook. We don't know what we're cooking today. We got some apples, and then just having fun with it.
Yes.
Letting people know how much fun it is and have simple dishes and to cook together. Cooking together is one of my favorite things with my mom.
Yeah.
I still love it to this day to cook with my mom. It will always be
you have a connection with your mom
because you make something together.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
and
right. Then you enjoy, and then you share the beautiful stories.
Yeah, and you laugh.
And you laugh
and
about
you
your
mess
childhood.
up.
That's right.
A lot of people want to do a lot of things. I have friends who want to pursue certain passions they have, right? This wasn't on our question sheet, but I'm curious to know, like, how do you deal with fear? Because I love the way you visualize, because I'm all about visualizing and affirmations, and I love that you see it, right? They say that's the first part. But there's always, a lot of people have the fear, right? Of, can I actually do it? It's maybe fear, it's confidence. Like, I love the way you say it in the way that it, as if it's already there, like you expect it. And it's like you somehow have managed to deal with that fear or lack of confidence thing. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, the fear factor. I guess then you follow your passion, and you know that this is what you are meant to do. I think you overcome this fear. Like you get over it. You kind of just talk about what ignites you, what it's your passion.
You'll find your tribe.
Yeah.
You'll find the people that are passionate with you on it.
Exactly.
It's I think when it comes from here, there's nothing that can go wrong.
Right. And I have to say, the very first thing when I started this book, I had a little notebook where I was writing my thoughts and ideas. And the very first thing that I wrote in it was, don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid not to try.
Wonderful. Love that.
And I think that really every time I would open the book, I would see it, because there were days that they were not easy. And I would just say, why am I doing this? What if I don't sell one single copy?
Yeah.
Right.
What if I lose money on this? What if it never goes anywhere? And all the effort and energy and time and money I spent on it goes nowhere. But I did it because I believe that I have to share and inspire people. And I wanted to do it so badly. And I think that people, when you really know that it's right, you know it.
Yeah.
It's like with relationship, you meet somebody, and you say, this is my person. This is, I know I'm going to marry this person or be forever. You just know it. So I had lots of ideas over the years, and we all go through those stages. Oh, this is it. But it's not really it, because you have always excuses, right? Yeah. Oh, today I can't do this. Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. I don't have the. With the book, I woke up one night when I got the idea. I woke up and I said, this is it. I can't even sleep. I think about it 24/7. I was dreaming ideas. It was almost like the universe was talking to me, and I was manifesting it. I was like, this is it. And from that moment, I could not sleep. I could not do anything except thinking about it. And I was on fire. Yeah. So I think when you know what is the idea, and you follow your dream, and you're so focused, I think that you can achieve anything you want. And I finally get it because I did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Before I had no idea, so Then you
It's,
know, you know.
it's funny what you were saying earlier. A wise man once told me a long time ago, don't live on what ifs. Because if you lived on that what if,
Right.
you would have never produced this. You would have
That's
never
right.
seen what happened if it would have failed, if it would not have failed. And it's not
Right.
going to fail. It's going to
Right.
do very well.
Right.
But you can't live on that fear
Failing.
of failing. Because if you do,
Yes.
you'll never do
You will
anything.
never do
You'll never
anything.
do anything.
And there's so many excuses every day. You have so many excuses, distractions,
Mhm.
but you have to keep continue going because you have to follow your dreams. And if you believe in it, even if it doesn't do well, you did it for
Yeah,
yourself.
Right.
And
exactly.
you showed yourself your limits, you stepped out of your comfort zone. And I have a funny story. I just remember I was shooting this sorbet, it's a peach strawberry sorbet with basil sugar. I gave it a little twist, and you can freeze it and you make it into margaritas.
Oh, nice.
You can do anything with it. But I've shot this sorbet 3 days. And it was middle of summer in Georgia, and it's hot and steamy.
No.
And I'm shooting it outside. If you can
You
find the
have-
picture,
yeah,
find the
let me see.
picture. It's in the book. Right, it's right here, I think. And so I'm shooting this sorbet. There is another picture, and I'm outside, and the sun is setting down, and I know there's like a special light for it, and I'm like there with a reflector and my phone, and I'm shooting it, and it melts.
Oh, yeah.
There's
yeah,
about
5 seconds.
100 mosquitoes on me
Oh my gosh.
because it's very mosquito in my backyard. And I'm getting eaten, and I'm hot and sweaty, and the sorbet is melting. And I did it 3 days. The same time, because it had to be the special light for that.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like going crazy. I'm like, okay, not today. I have to put it back in the freezer because now it's water.
Wow.
So I did it 3 days. And if I gave up and like, you know what, I can't do this. This is just too much work, and most of the stuff I created myself. So it was really challenging because I did a lot of things that, it takes a team to do those things. But I kept going. Because I was like, I'm gonna get you, sorbet.
Ah.
You can't mess with me. I'll show you. So that's it. That's it. And it's by the pool, and it was all
Beautiful.
starting out. But I waited 3 days for this shot. So I just want to tell you, it wasn't easy.
But you know what? I think it's so great that you're sharing that with our viewers and our listeners, because people always think that, like, when they see the final product, you have something in your hand, like, yeah, you're like, oh, this is beautiful. But people don't know how much work and time and pushing through, and like what you could have given up after the first day and said, okay, you know what, I'll just do something else. But you fought for that sorbet shot, and look at how it turned out. Gorgeous.
Yes. So there's many stories like that. And I still, and there were days, of course, when I was just didn't do one thing. Like there was a one day and I was just like, I need a break. I need to rethink. I need to rejuvenate from it. I need to kind of just take a deep breath. So there will be days when you will doubt yourself. Then you'll be like, why am I doing this? I'm tired. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then you wake up in the morning, because I'm an optimist,
Oh, you are.
Yes. And then the coffee kicks in, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh my God. How many times on the set have I heard that? And I've been like, oh my God, please be quiet.
Just shush.
That energy on set, and I
Yes.
appreciate it. But yeah, I think that everybody has to go that. With Shay and I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, that we go through that too, like all the time.
Where it's like, oh my gosh, I just need a day away.
Right.
But then you always have to start it again. You always have to start again.
Yeah.
But then even what you said about when you know it's right, with creator, couldn't sleep, couldn't think about anything. And we still have our moments where, like when we have a new guest coming on, we're supposed to be working on like work things that, bring us money consistently, and we're still focused on creator. So when it feels right, the excuses fly out the window and you get things done. You just get it done.
And sometimes, like how you were talking earlier about mistakes, we make mistakes all the time. But the thing is you
But
learn
that's
from them
life.
and
That's
you
life. Nobody's
do
perfect.
it. Yeah.
This book is not perfect.
No.
But that's what it's about. Life is not
Yeah.
perfect. You know, I'm not Martha Stewart. I don't have 30 people running, you know, this and doing this. This is almost a one-man show, you know.
One
Well,
woman.
yeah, one woman, one woman show. But yes, of course, the design and photography from Tim and all the, you know, all the writing and stuff. There's other people involved, but you know, 80% of it is pretty much just me. So, and that's what I want to show people. You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just
Yeah.
have to be authentic.
Yeah.
It just have to be you, and you have to have fun throughout the process and really enjoy the ride, you know.
Well, I mean, I see you on TV. I see you having your own show, like a cooking show, like, you know. But I wouldn't even call it a cooking show because there's so many other things that you would do. I just don't see you being limited by cooking. Yes.
Right?
Like, it wouldn't just be cooking. It'd be like, oh, today we're gonna do these drinks and we're gonna make a dress. I don't know. You do everything. Like,
That's right. And then I would be fixing people's
Yeah.
tie and doing their makeup and putting the flowers in a pot and styling the set because that's just how I am.
Yeah. Well, I think you would be great having your own show and stuff like that. And I think that this is your first step. You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that you are going to be very, very successful with anything you touch. So
I agree 100%. So our last question that we always have to ask, and we love to hear what people have to say. What does being a creator mean to you?
It means everything. Being a creative person to me is like giving me a glass of water. Every day, if I don't create something, I feel unproductive. I don't feel myself. I have to create. Every single day there is something. If it's an Instagram post, if it's a little something styling wise or inspiring somebody or you know, talking about art, seeing art, getting inspired.
I love that answer. I agree with you. I mean, that's half the reason I'm a designer. There's every day I have to be able to touch something to create something. Whether
something.
even it's just a color of a font or
Right.
whatever. I just need a little creativity every day.
Yes,
Otherwise,
that's
I would
being artists,
wilt, yeah.
right? We are creators.
I
We are
would
artists.
wilt and die.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
With that being said, Paulina, where can people find the Bohemian Peach, A Taste of Home? How can they get your cookbook?
Right. So you can either go to the website, which is www.thebohemianpeach.com, and you can see pictures, you can see, you know, a little bio about me and all kinds of things, and you can click and order right there. In the future, there will be books on Amazon. You can also see me or find me on Instagram, _Bohemian_Peach. Please follow me. Thank
Yes,
you.
her recipes in there are great. Her personality is
Yes.
great on there. You see more and more of her. And thank you so much for being on the show, Paulina. We have thoroughly enjoyed you, and we hope to hear more from you. And there better be another book or a show soon.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling this is not the last we're gonna hear of Paulina. And Josh, you know my saying, we got her first.
I know.
Well, guys, thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate it. I've been watching you. I love you, and thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, everybody remember, it's more than art, it's life.
Imagine more.